all these sickos, and they're going to access your children where they're spending most of their time online. So you need to have these conversations with your kids, period. You're doing your kid a disservice by not communicating. 1 in 5 children under the age of 18 will be solicited for sex online before they turn 18. Why? Because there's 37 million teenagers on social media in the United States alone right now. 37 million. It's a cesspool of children. And guess who knows that? All these sickos. Because they're not going to go to a park where there's cameras identifying their license plate and facial recognition and all that stuff. They're going to hide behind some firewall VPN, thinking they're hiding their IP address, and they're going to make up a fake account on this fake social media, and they're going to access your children where they're spending most of their time online. It's just the new world that we live in today. This just reality. So you need to have these conversations with your kids, period. You're doing your kid a disservice by not communicating. And if you can't have those conversations, I go back to the very first most important thing. Building a relationship with your child, a safe place that they trust that can come to you. And guess what? You're probably going to have to use certain things that go against your natural desires, where they say, and this has happened tons of times, and I've had to tell parents all the time, don't take their phone from them. Oh, what? No way. I'm taking it for 2 weeks. What's that going to do? They're going to hide everything from you and never tell you the truth ever again. Period. Why wouldn't they? I did it as a kid. But when you're open and you tell them, hey, if this ever happens, I promise you will not get in trouble, and you follow through with that. Hey, thank you for being honest and telling me the truth. You're not in trouble. You can keep your phone, and I appreciate you for coming to me and being honest with me. And the next step is we probably need to report this to law enforcement, and then law enforcement can take over that account or whatever it may be, depending on what's going on online and what conversations. But creating that relationship, if you don't have that, then you can't even have the conversation. Yeah. Right? You have to have those relationships with your child. They're tough. And I know you said you have young children, and so do I, but I can't tell you how many parents I deal with. And I fear the moments that I have to deal with my kids having conversations about phones and social media. Because you tell a kid they can't have a phone and social media, you're their enemy right now. Right? All my friends have them.
Yeah, man. Like, social media is tricky. I guess. I mean, do you know any of the stats on like how old are most kids when they're given a phone with access to social media? Like, is that what is the general consensus?
I actually know that stat. I think it's on our site too. I want to say 12, but I know as early as 8 or 9 they're getting phones. But so I think the average is 12 years old when they're getting a phone.
So these kids are getting a phone pre-puberty, and first thing they're doing is probably making a social media account. What is the prevalent social accounts that kids of that age are making? Is it like TikTok now is the big one?
TikTok's huge for everyone. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. Those are the most for young kids. There's a couple other ones I'm not even going to mention because I don't want kids on them. And then you've seen the video game platforms. I'm sure people have seen a lot of this stuff out there. Anywhere that somebody can talk to your child and hide their identity is potentially a risk. You know, gaming systems, phones, through these platforms. Parents, listen to this. Key thing to hear me out on. Talk to your child about this. If they're talking to somebody they don't know, and that individual says, hey, let's get off of this messaging system and come over to this one that you've never heard of. You just have to go download it from the App Store. Number one, massive red flag, massive. And do not ever do that. Do not ever do that.
What is their motive? And is it just untracked? Like, is it like a encrypted app they're typically trying to get them to move over to?
Somewhat. Really what it is that a lot of these big billion-dollar companies, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, they know what's going on as much as they're enabling certain things and not allowing us to educate people, which is a whole nother topic. They actually have divisions where law enforcement can actually, they work well with law enforcement. That's all I'm going to say. And if it's an imminent threat or something, usually within 12, sometimes within an hour or two, they get you the things that you need, right? And you can really, on some of these things, it's one of the hardest parts is identifying the person online, okay? So they're going to do everything they can to hide their identity. right? So when they move to that other platform that's built in the Middle East somewhere, there's no way you're identifying them. And the company that built that won't give you any information. None.
Mm,
So good luck. They live out in the ether somewhere.
gotcha. But like the big ones that are prevalent in the US, like the Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, like those play well with law enforcement?
Absolutely, when it's required and when it's necessary. They really well. Some of them better than others, but absolutely, they have a whole division that works with law enforcement. Yeah, no, they work really well. They work really well. Now, that being said, I'm not going to just give them all props because just this morning I'm getting warnings that my posts about exactly what we're talking about, literally, if you look at the most recent post about this phone is the new candy that they're giving their kids, and how the playground isn't really a playground, it's digital. I can't even promote that because it goes against community standards.
Yeah, it's got to be like a double-edged sword for you because you're putting out content that I'm sure their automated system would view as incentivizing, some type of sexual assault or something. So like they're going to flag you automatically and you're just trying to make it aware.
Yeah, I'm trying to give people resources, man.
Yeah.
Trying to help people, educate them. And they're not allowing it. That's why it's so important to sign up for our email, because the email, at least I know it's going to your spam box and I can just say, hey, check your spam,
Yeah.
and move it to your inbox. But I know it's getting delivered. We have a text sign up too. And so those are things that I can control the communication on. Really, social media, I will say that, a lot of our content gets shared. So that's good. At least people will share it. But I can't push it. I really can't push it. And we have to censor a lot of things. YouTube shuts us down almost every video. Every video gets blocked pretty much now. So
when predators are initially reaching out to minors via DM comments, things like that on social, are they trying to get any deeper than surface level initially? Or are they just literally trying to immediately move them to a different platform because the platform would shut them down if they insinuated anything?
Well, the platforms don't shut them down in the conversations, which is shocking to me. No, it's all of the above. The smart ones try to kick them over. I would say that it's just vast. Some of them are cautious, like, hey, really slow, could take weeks, maybe a month before you really get something that's, worthy of an arrest. Even when they know you're 11 and they keep communicating, you want to get them to do something more illegal than just communicating with a minor. They have to actually commit some certain crimes. So some of them will take their time and really try to fill it out. Others, like I said, I've seen multiple where they just like, hey, sexy, you want to make $300? You're beautiful. You're one of the hottest chicks I've seen. You could crush the money. They have emojis, $300 an hour sound good to you? Like, that's the first one. Like I said, some of them are copy and paste too. And they put their actual phone numbers in there, dude. Like, hit me up, and so it just depends. Yeah, I'll give you we've recorded this and I've debated on putting it out there because I'm sure the social media platform would come after me, but we recorded some of these things where, we pretend to be these girls and we'll be on these accounts and we'll get a friend request and then we'll just hit accept. And within seconds, they're like, hey, hottie. And then all of a sudden we get 5 more friend requests. We're like, accept. Boom. 10 more, 25 more, 50 more, 100, 450 within a week. And you're looking at all these people that are now being introduced to an 11-year-old or 12 maybe online, 14 max. And you start looking at their profile and they don't have very many people following them, but they seem to be following thousands of people. And then you look at the people they're following. Well, they're all kind of identical. No wonder this platform is sending me identical people that have identical profiles. It's the algorithms are saying, oh, well, they should meet. It's insanity. I'm talking about real life 50-some-year-old men being introduced to an 11-year-old through a platform. That would be like me going to the grocery store, finding a grown man in the produce section and walking him over to a child in the ice cream aisle and saying, hey, excuse me 1 second. I think you guys should meet and talk.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
And these are all like real people. Like there's not a risk of them all being bots or anything like that.
No, they're pretty much real people. They're trying to maybe not use their face and they're just trolling around. Here's the other thing. I mean, literally could talk for hours about this, but what we found is an interesting place and a discovery that we found was, there's some of these influencer women with millions of followers, right? Guess who's going to go there? Predators. Why? Because they know that moms are probably following this influencer. And what's going to be on mom's account? Pictures of her children. If she loves them a lot, she wants to show pictures of them at their 10th birthday pool party with a bunch of 10-year-old girls. And then what's he going to do? Drool and probably save some of those photos. And then he's going to probably start storing some of those. And then maybe he creates a fake account. Then what does he do? He takes that account from those fake photos of these girls. It's not even from the girls' Instagram or whatever platform. It's from the moms. But he creates a fake one and then he starts messaging boys. And then he starts telling them, oh, hey, look at this picture of me and my friends by the pool for my birthday. You're cute. Whoa, boys like, what? Hot girl giving me attention. Start talking. And then he says, hey, you got any sexy pictures? The girl says that to the boy. Well, the boy's on fire. Yeah. What do you want? Well, send me something like this. Oh, I don't know. I've never done that before. It's fine. It disappears, right? Sends it, starts storing them. Now starts friending that kid's friends, parents, siblings. Send more. Send maybe some back to him. Maybe not fully nude. Maybe they're AI. I don't know. And then at some point he goes, oh, by the way, I'm not really a 10-year-old girl. This is all over. You can Google tons of these cases. You're not? No, I'm actually a grown man. And I'm friends with all your friends, especially at school. And I will distribute these if I don't get $10,000 within the next 24 hours. Well, sometimes they actually distribute them before they even make those threats. And the kid knows that it's all been out there. And what happens? Suicide. Yep, that's true. Lots of these stories. Suicide. That's what happens. So that's what I'm saying. You got to be careful with your content.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Savage Clip. If you want to see the full-blown deep dive, check out the full episode here, and I'll see you there.